Hello again. Here I am in my favorite place, the Great American Songbook Archive. These shelves are filled with very important musical history. And these shelves constitute a portion of a library that is called the Bethards-Massey Collection. That is a consortium of several different music libraries and collections that were put together by a wonderful man named Jack Bethards, who made it possible for us to inherit this music. This music came from the estates of a number of different arrangers, conductors, composers, from radio stations and from other places that used to program music, radio stations, perhaps executives involved with record labels, people who perform music live. Jack Bethards started collecting a lot of this music because he saw that it was being thrown away or moldering in garages and not being appreciated. And like me, he would look at it and say, we have to save this because one day someone's going to care about this stuff. And that's exactly what has happened with a lot of our musical heritage. And this library was at the Paramount Theater in Oakland, California, very well cared for. However, as their mission at the Oakland Paramount changed, their desire to keep this library diminished because they felt that they couldn't do justice to what was required to maintain it. And so we were able to obtain it through the generosity of the board members of the preservation organization at the Oakland Paramount Theater and Jack Bethards himself. And it was quite an extraordinary job transporting this music here because this music is organized. And if you pack something and put it in helter-skelter fashion, then it is no longer organized. And how in the heck do you find anything? And so this is pretty much in the same order that it was in California. So all of this stuff had to be packed in a way that it could be transported so it wouldn't get lost in the shuffle. Because you can imagine the number of years that it took to organize all of this. And it still is an ongoing process because some of the music is organized in a rudimentary fashion because when it was originally cataloged in California, there wasn't the time perhaps to do an in-depth organizing, but to get the title, then one could say, oh, let's go look at this arrangement and see what it is. For example, I'm just pulling this arrangement. This is a Cole Porter song, You'd Be So Nice to Come Home To, which is from a 1943 film called Something to Shout About, Something to Sing About. So this is called a stock arrangement. This is a published arrangement for a dance band. And it has a sheet in it that lists the exact instrumentation. So without having to open these arrangements themselves, you can look and see what the instrumentation is and if there are any parts that are missing. And if there's parts missing, you can look in a database and see if you can find it someplace else. So these appear to be stock arrangements, probably from the 20s, 30s, and 40s. Then the library also has a great deal of, now did I put that back in the right place as I'm talking? I'm just like, ha 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 ha. I'll get in trouble. 638, 639, I didn't put it in the right place, you see? Very important, because somebody would curse me later, saying, where's that chart? So we have stock arrangements here. We have music that goes back to the 1800s, some manuscript music. This library, as I said, is a consortium of many different things. So there is published music that is sometimes as hard to find as manuscript music because even the music publishers that printed these orchestrations, they didn't keep copies of it. And when they registered something for copyright, they often would send a notice, but they wouldn't send an actual set of the arrangement. So there are many things that are protected by copyright, but nobody has copies of them, even the music publisher. And somebody may contact the music publisher and say, I'd like to rent your arrangement of You'd Be So Nice to Come Home To, arranged by Jack Mason for dance band. And they say, well, we don't have it. So they have to look for it. Well, we have it. And that's the thing that's great is as we are listed online and as we are listing more and more of what these collections are online, people can find it and then they can make arrangements to borrow the arrangements. Now, over here is a library of music that belonged to a very fine musician composer, arranger named Newton Wayland. This is a lot of original manuscript music that he arranged for symphony orchestra because he conducted a number of Pops orchestras in Denver, in Houston, and other places. And his library was a working rental library for symphony orchestras. And so this music we're still processing because it wasn't as well cataloged as some of the other collection. And we're finding extraordinary things here because, again, a lot of this music has disappeared. And Wayland kept copies of arrangements that were available from other sources, and now most of those other sources have disappeared. So in some instances, we have the only copies of these things. So this library will become it is a treasure trove, but it will become more and more important as time progresses. When somebody is looking for an original Johnny Green arrangement of Lover by Rodgers and Hart, or if somebody's looking for a vintage Gershwin arrangement, or they're looking for Newton Wayland's arrangement of the 12 Days After Christmas by Fred Silver, which at one point was one of the most rented things from his library and hasn't been available for a number of years. So that is the joy of shepherding all of this music. The library is something that we look forward to sharing for years to come.